phenomenon of, Black women being erased, either from history or even from our contemporary modern times. I talked in the last video about Kevin Samuels and just this whole erasure of the Black educated modern, plus size woman and single mom, and I just wanted to highlight that this is happening. This happens so much. One of the things I love about, YouTube is that it does give people like me, women like me, a platform to come on here and share about my journey and my experience. And my mom, like I said, will be on the channel because I do want to really give a voice to a lot of Black women who have been denied opportunities and told that their stories are irrelevant, or told that their stories, that because they don't have letters behind their name, that they are not qualified to speak on certain subjects. There might be people who feel that way about me. I'm on here talking about various topics that either have affected me or topics that I have been issues and lived experiences that I've had. I'm on here talking about all of that. There might be people who think that I have no right to speak on what I'm speaking on, but I'm going to do it anyway. And as I mentioned, that's one of the main drivers behind my book is, and it's funny, I couldn't really articulate this at that time, but my goal is to not be erased. My book will outlive me, whether it's on Amazon or I don't know where it's going to be, but the book will be around. And so, and these videos will be here, and the things you put on social media, and it's an imprint, it's a footprint. And I actually have that's a whole nother video that I'm going to do about that and about legacy. But just getting back to, what I'm calling women like me, that's kind of part of the topic, and the erasure of women like me. So I guess I want to, this is kind of okay. So I have a couple of points that, again, I get that a lot of times what I'm going to say is not popular opinion. I'm not on here to be popular. Honestly, I'm not. I'm just sharing my thoughts and my ideas, but I do want to address the show Insecure. And don't judge me. I just recently finished the last season. And it was good. Love Issa Rae. Issa Rae, as many of you know, got her start right here on YouTube. And I love what she's doing for Black people, Black women. Overall, I thought the show was a good show. However, one of the characters on the show, Kelly, and again, correct me if I'm wrong about any of this. I have watched actually every single episode, all seasons, but I've done it in not at the time when everyone else was watching it. So if some of my details are off, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to be honest, I really didn't care too much for Kelly's character, and I personally felt that her character could have been developed a little bit more. And again, this is going into my overall umbrella topic on just the erasure of certain types of women like me. And I wouldn't really, I don't know if it's really erasure in this case, but Kelly kind of really, her character played a lot into the stereotype of plus size women, right? So the clothes that she wore, I don't ever remember seeing Kelly in a crop top or, now plus size women, we're wearing crop tops, So a lot of her clothes were very, some would say that Kelly's character played into the quote unquote, mammy stereotype about Black women, and by that meaning, by her being larger, she dressed a certain way. She didn't really have the same, sex appeal that the other characters had, although Kelly, is very beautiful. So I did notice her clothes. I did notice the fact that she was a funny girl. She was a girl who always, made jokes and was not as, poised, not as classy, if you will. And so, and again, to me, it just played into, it's not so much that I didn't like her character, but, and I thought that she contributed to the show, but I wanted them to, her character, to be developed more and deeper, because oftentimes it is the plus size girl who's the funny girl, and I guess people say people who oftentimes lose weight will later say, well, I had to have this big personality to sort of take away from my size. And so people wouldn't pay attention to my size, they would pay attention to my personality. And, and so I didn't like that. And also, the very, very end, I know she was pregnant and talked about having a baby father. And to my knowledge, I don't think she ever got married. You do see, and this is obviously a spoiler, which shouldn't be a spoiler because most of you should have seen the last season of Insecure. But she was at the wedding of Molly, who was married, ended up getting married. And I think Issa Rae also ended up married, I believe. But Kelly it appeared that she became a mom, but not a wife. And so, yeah, I just kind of had an issue with that. And I just kind of, wish that we could have seen Kelly in a different light. Maybe we could have seen Kelly in different clothing, because again, this is another topic, but I do not, there are certain plus size clothes that I don't wear, and not because I'm against it, but I do tend to wear more, form-fitting clothes, and a lot of, plus size women do. So I wish that we could have seen Kelly maybe in some different attire. And also, again, why did she have to be the girl who was always saying something just left field? And, and why didn't she have a little bit more, I don't want to call it sex appeal. I don't know what to call it, but yeah. And then, like I said, why couldn't she have become a wife? And not that I care about that, really. It was just, I just felt like she played into the stereotypical plus size black woman, and then she ended up becoming the single mom. It's like it just kind of played into all of it. So anyway, that's just my my cultural commentary. And so the other thing I want to talk about is like body image. And and again, like I said, unpopular opinion, I'm sure. But I'm going to throw it out there because this is my platform, and I feel like this is the place where I can get out these ideas. And it's just like, I kind of want to go back to erasure and invisibility. And in my book, I mentioned this just briefly, but when you see, like, if you look at the depictions of black women on, either in social media or just in the media in general, you see women, who go to the extreme with certain body modification surgeries and so forth. And I'm talking, and so just keep in mind, I'm talking about the extreme cases right now, like size 4 up top, size 16 at the bottom. Like, we all know who I'm talking about. If you want to either think of celebrities or, or just regular women who, again, go to the extreme. Not that they're doing these things to look natural or, because I think that ultimately, just like with makeup, ultimately that should be the goal. If you're enhancing anything, ideally you want to do it to a point where it looks natural so that people don't really know. But when it's done to a point where it is very obviously not natural, and, I guess I want to pose a question. What do you think that says either about that woman, or if there's a group of women doing it? In this case, we're talking about black women. If there is a lot of black women altering their body in a way that is, for most women unachievable, in most cases unnatural, what does that say? Are they, and this, I don't have an answer. This is just me analyzing something. Is it, because it's essentially, you can call it a hypervisible look. They're kind of playing into this notion of hypervisibility. Is it simultaneously a form of invisibility? Is that sort of hypervisible look also a form of them maybe feeling invisible? Are they doing their best to make their mark and to be seen, to avoid being ignored, to avoid being erased? I don't know. But these are questions that I ponder because, again, and I'm speaking, and I know that all types of women do all types of things, but right now I'm talking about Black women, and I may be speaking to Black women. But, I think about that in this society. I mean, we all know that Black women are in the media over-sexualized. And the depictions we see, and then again, and even in real life, you have women who will take whatever's on Instagram and try to recreate that in real life. You see this person looking this way on Instagram, and you think that you have to go achieve that same look in person, which is dang near impossible. But if women are doing that, and if that's happening, I'm just wondering, does that feed into this invisibility narrative? Are these women so invisible internally that they're fixing their exterior to be extremely visible, to be noticed, because there's maybe something happening or not happening internally within themselves? So that's a question. Doesn't necessarily have to be answered right now, but these are things that I think about, and it's very interesting to me. And I think, maybe the last point that I want to make on this topic is just goes back to like women in history. And so I talked before about how, again, when we talk about the erasure of Black women, oftentimes it's in relation to the civil rights movement or even police brutality, and we all can think of various, examples there. But I want us to think about, all the women in history that really, again, going back to the modern, everyday Black, plus size in this case, single mom in this case, woman. Think about all the women in history, many, many, many of them, who related to these intersecting identities, who were, many of these women also physically helped to build this country. Think about all these women, all of these Black women. These are women who look like you, who look like me. These women were, in their day, modern. These women, in their day, they were perhaps plus sized. Some of them were single moms. These are Black women, right? So I just want us to really own who we are, embrace who we are. If you are a modern educated woman, if you're Black and a single mom, if you are dark skinned, if you have natural hair, whatever it is, own it and embrace it. Don't let any group on the internet tell you that your market value is low. Like, I mean, my mom, hopefully she doesn't mind me sharing this, got married in her 60s. But so again, this whole notion of market value being low, you'll never get married, oh, that whole narrative, no, we're not going to do that. So thank you for listening. Like, comment, share this video with anyone who could benefit from it. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, or you'll see me. Bye.